Hello and welcome to beautiful Albania.
We crossed the border into Albania via Greece and had our temperatures checked at the border. At this point, Italy had just shut down due to the corona outbreak, and other countries in Europe were starting to report more and more cases. At this time, Albania was still considered safe as they had very few cases, but the situation turned more and more serious shortly after crossing the border.
Alright, so we just got off the bus now, walking up to the hostel, but walking through this residential area, man, already this place is so beautiful. Just like this, absolutely incredible. And to be honest, I'm really weird. I really like old, unrenovated places that feel really natural and abandoned, and this place is absolutely my type of place to be. Everything is just empty like this, and like broken window panes and everything, and just really feels like an old communist town actually, which is it's quite interesting to experience like this. And I don't know, I gotta do research about why it's like this right now, but man, it's really interesting place just to walk around and experience. Alright, so our first stop in Albania is this little town called Gjirokastër. I'm probably not saying that right. As you see behind me, we have extraordinary mountains, and the architect here is amazing with stone roofs and stone buildings everywhere. It's just spectacular here. And of course, we have all these buildings on the hills and everything, and a castle behind us, and this is the rooftop of our hostel. Man, this is going to be a brilliant stay here.
Our first and ultimately only stop in Albania is the stunning city of Gjirokastër. The UNESCO World Heritage Organization describes Gjirokastër as a rare example of a well-preserved Ottoman town, and their words could not be any more true. It's been preserved well enough where one can feel the history, but not overly renovated for mass tourism, so the city still feels very authentic. The history of Gjirokastër is long and complicated. It dates back as far as 1336, where it was part of the Byzantine Empire and remained so until 1417.
So this is one of the more rare cities where you can actually walk around and feel the history. And to be honest, it's a little creepy and a little eerie. First of all, because of the coronavirus, the streets are completely abandoned. But number two, everything's abandoned anyways, and all the windows are broken and all the doors are broken and everything. And just like, check this out here. Everything is just like that, or it's just gated up. But also because of the coronavirus, there's just no one outside walking around, which just builds everything up. It's just a crazy place to be.
The city saw major political changes throughout the 19th century. Greece temporarily claimed Gjirokastër during the First Balkan War and continued to change hands between Greece and Albania until Albania regained full control in 1919. Later on in 1939, Italy occupied Gjirokastër, which lasted until 1941 when Nazi Germany temporarily took over. A couple years later, the city returned to Italian command before ultimately returning to Albanian rule in 1944. Shortly after the Second World War, Albania became a socialist republic and remained so until 1991, the year many socialist regimes collapsed.
Alright, so we made it to the top of the mountain where the beautiful castle lies. However, since the coronavirus is spreading like crazy, they have shut down the castle for entrance for tourists, so can't go see it today. But the owner of the guest house was just telling us that because of the coronavirus, that most of the roads in Albania are actually closed right now. So we might actually be stranded here for a few days, but we're gonna wait a couple days and hopefully we're gonna be able to explore other towns, but might be here for a while. Depends on what the government decides to do about this coronavirus thing. So it's day 5 on lockdown. I've been staying at the hostel by myself. It's been so boring. There's nothing going on outside, and well, we still have the beautiful view though, so I've been documenting absolutely nothing because there's absolutely nothing to document anyways. My beard's getting itchy, so I'm gonna shave it. This is gonna be the most exciting thing within the past 5 days. What? I'm scared to show my face now, but I have to at some point. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so quick update. We actually got permission from local authorities to be able to use the roads, so we hired a taxi to take us to the capital, Tirana. You're supposed to have a flight purchased in order to be able to use transit. I bought one online. It was just cancelled now, but we don't need to let them know, so I have the ticket printed. Hopefully we can just drive straight to Tirana, and I'll figure out this mess once we get there. Okay, so it's 2 in the morning. It's time to say goodbye to Gjirokastër, and we're off to Tirana now.
So the full story goes like this. All roads and public transportation were closed, and only vehicles with special permission from the government could go out, but only during nighttime hours. After calling my embassy, they informed me that if I had a plane ticket and booked a private taxi to the airport in the capital city, that I would be authorized to travel. I booked a ticket to Montreal, contacted the local police and got written permission to use the roads, and then booked a private taxi to the capital some 220 kilometers away. Shortly after buying my flight ticket, the flight was cancelled, but I was still able to use the printed ticket as evidence to the police. We were pulled over 3 or 4 times along the way for authorities to check our documents.
So I arrived at the airport at about 7 a.m. this morning. I went straight to the desk. I found a flight to Vienna, and then from Vienna I will go to Toronto, and then Toronto to Montreal. So we're about to board the flight, so hopefully none of these things get cancelled, and then if not, we're back home. This looks promising. Goodbye, Albania. I'm sorry I couldn't explore more of you. Next time, I'm coming back.